So you guys have one major arcana card, what a major arcana card it is, and it's coming up as a future energy. I know we got the Wheel of Fortune before, but you know, this kind of looks like that. There's an opportunity coming in there, something that makes you very happy. Let's pop these down. Okay, it's lots of Wands energy coming up here as well, but it's all grounded by your energy, Earth energy. We have the Nine of Pentacles coming up as the underlying energy for this week. And it's like I was telling Leo as well, you know, none of the cards are good or bad. They're not dark or light, positive or negative. Yes, some people like to see more cards than others, but you know, there is such thing as too much of a good thing as well. And so we have a blessing in this card, and this is the card that talks about independence, confidence. You've done it all. You don't need anyone else. You've created whatever abundance it is that you've created. You know, having the ability. She's got a beautiful garden here, right? But she's created it herself. Why? Because she has mastery. The card before the Nine of Pentacles is the Eight of Pentacles. And in the Eight of Pentacles, that was that person working away, the apprentice trying to gain mastery. Well, the apprentice has become the master here. And has, you know, this beautiful garden to show for it, the abundance. So this card does say to enjoy what you've created. However, that's the flip side, right? The curse of this card. And that is, then talks about, don't let it become a gilded cage though. Don't let it become a gilded cage. We can become too comfortable where we are. Or, I'm going to cough 1 second. I'm so sorry. I've had a really horrendous cough for a few days, and I've been kind of topping up on, you know, hot tea with honey and lemon, and it kind of helps for a little while. So I think I need to top up again, but let's get through your reading first. So you'll have to excuse the coughing. I do apologize, Virgo. Yes, and you know, this can become too safe. It can become a gilded cage. As much as it's asked you to enjoy what you've created in your life, would you let it just limit you? Would you get stuck there? This can be when people stay stuck in a job or a relationship because financially it's sound. But it doesn't, you know, it's great. You do well in it, but it doesn't really fulfill you. You know, we all need a challenge. It becomes a comfort zone. There's a whole world to explore outside of this garden that she's in. So it kind of asks you to look at that. So, but it's a beautiful energy. It's about being comfortable. You're comfortable. You're good where you are. You know, I don't need anyone, whether you're in a relationship or not, or you're working with a team or not, you know, you're comfortable in yourself, your independence, in whatever. Sometimes I do see single people getting this when they're worried about their independence being encroached upon or losing their independence, you know, by being in a relationship. So it can be that people get this in relationships as well. Like I said, it's when we get very comfortable there, you know, it's like, oh, well, I've done it. I've built this relationship or this home or whatever. Let's just stay there. You have the Seven of Wands at the heart of your reading. Now, as much as this might explain why you're kind of focused on your safe space. This might be, and there's a kind of very hermit-like energy that's coming up here, which is your energy anyway. But that kind of taking a step back to kind of assess, like, where am I in this? How do I feel about this? Why? I kind of feel this is more, you're not really looking in yourself because the hermit did not come up. It's so important to look at that. You're taking the step back maybe, or staying wherever this kind of safe space is, or enjoying what you've created, but to kind of stay away from this Seven of Wands energy, which is just energy coming at you from every angle. You know, wands are energy, and this is energy that comes at us. Usually the wands are about energy that we put out into the world. So we have to take a stand. You know, we say no more, not doing this. You know, I'm taking a stand. I'm going to defend what is mine. You know, it's very strange because, well, it's not very strange. It just is. It just kind of hit me in the face just then. I kind of feel like some of you are defending your home even, or your job, you know, whatever your safe space is, the Nine of Pentacles, because that's what's the underlying thing this week. Why are you going up to fight for it? It feels like you have to defend something. Defending yourself, defending your position, defending your independence, defending something. That's what, it's very defensive energy. But it is that stop. No. You don't get this. You don't get to pass. You know, you don't get to go through that door. You don't get to have what's mine. But you need to know what you stand for to engage this energy. You know, it can be overwhelming when we have things coming at us from every angle. But this is the way we firmly make a stand and say, no, why? Because you have pride in what you've created. Whatever it is that you've created, you know, whatever this is, your home, your relationship, your work, whatever, right? It can be anything. You have pride in it. The Six of Wands is about recognition. You know, Leo got this too, and I can kind of see this as a repeat energy coming up for people. when we go through so much like introspective energy, when we're looking at what we have, assessing our lives, what we've achieved, hopefully more people will come out of it thinking, well, I have to take pride in what I've done in this. And that's how I see the Six of Wands, because he's climbed up on a horse, grabbed a wand, put a victory wreath on it and said, look at what I've achieved. I've just come back from conquering this land, from this diplomatic mission, wherever he's come back from. He's that conquering hero that returns home. So this is that energy that's coming in for you, that, you know, whatever it is, you have pride in it, and you should have pride in it because you've created it. The work that you've put in. Is someone trying to like come at you and either tell you you've done something wrong, or, you know, like I said, I do get the sense that it's almost as if someone's encroaching on your territory. That's what I'm getting with that combination there, because that's your safe space. But I will also say this to you. Don't retreat so much to like your own little safe cocoon because of this. That's not Seven of Wands. Seven of Wands, he takes a stand. He hasn't gone inside of there, because this might be the energy of going inside and shutting the door and letting them do whatever. He's come out of his house and stood there and said, piss off, basically. That's what he's saying to them. You can't have this. You can't come any further. Whatever this is, and that's pretty heavy stuff. I mean, it's not so heavy. I've taken a magnifying glass to it and really blown up the energy. You may be feeling this at a lesser energy, and it's a week, right? We're going through this is happening in a week. And this kind of pride in whatever you've done, you've built, or the work that you've put into something. Last week, last month, last year, we look at the past to know why we are where we are and to know where we're going. I always say you can't know where you know, if you don't know where you've been, how can you know where you're going? And this is about what you've done, take pride in what you've done. Because what you have coming up in the present is the Ace of Cups. And, you know, this is a new opportunity, a happiness. With the Six of With the Six of Wands coming up in the past, you've done a lot. There's recognition, there's success. You've put in, you know, you put in your hours, you've done your time to get this. And this feels like a reward for that. Something that makes you very happy. But there's a catch, and I kind of feel that catch. You have to come out of your gilded cage, or this safe space, to come and grab the cup. I will say this to you. The Ace of Cups, it's your cup. It is your cup. No one, you know, I almost feel as if we get given an empty cup and we fill it with whatever we have. And we get given that cup because we have so much of this. We have abundance. You have abundance. So what is in your cup? Every single person's cup's different. Very important to know. And it's something that I've been kind of harping on about like crazy recently, because I think too many people focus on, say, the Two of Cups, where somebody else's cup matches yours, right? Oh my God, that we have this fated connection. Well, you have a fated connection because the two cups are the same. So when you go into a situation, don't you want something wonderful in your own cup? Something that makes you feel happy, joyous. This is healing energy, spiritual growth, emotional growth, all of those wonderful things. But you're beginning a new cycle. A new cycle that takes you ultimately to the Ten of Cups, which is the happily ever after card, right? But we begin here. So there's a new opportunity coming in for sure. And it's out of your own hard work. It's out of your own hard work. This is your reward that you want. But are you going to take the cup or not? Aces are just options. They're doorways that get presented to us. Do we walk through them or not? That's our choice. We have free will. That's the whole point of this. And I kind of feel like it will take you out of your comfort zone to do this. It may be a new job that you have, you know, but you've got that great recognition in the old one. You're like, well, the new one might make me happier, but it takes me out of this safe space. Relationship. You have to give up your independence. But do you? You can still be a unique being, right? Even if you share your cup with someone else. So how do you feel? That's the Ace of Cups. And it's about a new beginning, that budding kind of emotion, happiness coming in. Where does it lead? It leads to judgment. And I think this is a judgment call that needs to be made. What does it need to be made about? It needs to be made on this. Whatever you're defending, is it worth defending? I mean, that's not a judgment in and of itself. That's up to you. You have to know in yourself it's worth defending. It's the whole point of the Seven of Wands. Judgment talks about taking a look back at, you know, the cycle that you've just been through. And if you're beginning a new cycle, it may be that that's why you're doing this. You know, taking a look back, figuring out, well, what did I go through? What happened here? What do these people do to me? You know, just the whole review of it. And then it's about taking away the lessons from it, drawing a line under it and moving on. You can't stand there defending that forever, right? Either knock those ones out of the way or say have it or whatever you want, whatever. But that's the judgment that gets made, because you can't face it's about facing your future without fear. And if you're always kind of afraid that someone's going to come at you and try to get what you've got, that's not fearlessness. So I do see judgment as a call to action, a call to, once and for all, this is a second chance at something. And maybe you thought you'd lost it, because remember, I keep getting the sense that something that you've built feels like it's being threatened, or someone's trying to kind of usurp it or something. This is where you get a second chance at something. You think, no, you thought maybe you were down and out, it had died, it had gone. Because all these people, they died at one time, but they have a second chance at life. It's very biblical, the image of judgment day. The other card, the advice card that we have here with the Three of Wands is, what do you expect to happen? It's asking you. The advice is, what are your expectations in this situation? Now, I'm getting that from this because this is someone who's waiting for their ships to come in. But he knows what he's expecting back from this because of the effort that he's put into this. And I don't think of it as like well, what do you expect, Virgo? You messed up. Because you didn't mess up, did you? You're proud of it. You've put in the work. You've been successful. You've been victorious. You've achieved a great amount of things. You've created all of this. So why would you not get back rewards for it, or results from that, right? From whatever it is that you start. And it's asking you to focus on that. Focus on that. Focus on what you've put into this. What's in your cup, how you feel, right? That's your judgment call. Both of these cards lead to this. This is the future energy, where we're going. And if you want a second chance at something, if you want a rebirth, if you want to be that phoenix that rises up from the ashes, because ultimately any kind of struggle that comes into our life, it's about growing through that, right? And becoming someone new. Sometimes we feel like we get broken, but when we get put back together, we're stronger than we ever were before. And this feels like it's a building on something that you've already created. You've created some safe space or comfort zone. It's about expanding that now. Expanding that. Three of Wands also is about, it's a manifestation card, but it's that part of the manifestation where we get back what we've put out already. We've done the visualizations, we've sat and done whatever, the mantras, whatever it is, however you manifest. You've done all of that. This is where we look and say, okay, well, where's my results now? Where's the stuff? Where is it? This is waiting for your Amazon order to show up, right? Appreciate this moment. Each and every situation has an opportunity to grow and find love. And that's kind of this, right? The growth is on this, expansion on this, coming out of this gilded cage. This is the love that you're finding. Every great love story begins with how we love ourselves. What is in our cup always? So what makes you happy? Does this make you happy, the situation? Even if you've put lots of time and effort into something, does it still make you happy? And everyone seems to be getting that kind of a similar message. Even in some client readings that I've been doing, that's the kind of focus at the moment. Well, it would be. The last few months have kind of forced us to really concentrate and look at what's been happening in our lives. And this is what this week is about. How do you want to grow? What could bring more love into your life, Virgo? No place at home. For some of you, this is about your home. I was getting that with that Nine of Pentacles and Seven of Wands. But no place like home says to you that, it's what is home to us? It's where we feel safe, right? Supported. We can just be ourselves. And no place at home says you always have a home in yourself. You will always keep yourself safe, no matter where you go. It might be, it doesn't have to be like the bank coming after your house or anything. I mean, that might be the case for some of you, but the cards themselves are not showing that. It just may be that because you've made such a beautiful home, you might live with someone that you don't want to live with them anymore, but you kind of put up with it because you love the house. Trust me, I've been there before. So you've got a beautiful house, you've got a beautiful home or something, and it's like, well, you know what? I can do this again. Or that security that I think is coming from this building, it's actually me that's bringing it. Because no place at home says to you, you will always feel safe. You will always feel secure as long as you're authentic to who you are, to how you're feeling in the moment, right? Let's just I'll grab them afterwards. Okay. It's about 3 of them that fell down. Okay. So what we have here for you guys is, dearest you, we here on the other side have one important thing to declare. Love is the answer to literally everything. We don't necessarily mean romantic or erotic love, although they are wonderful, but something above and beyond that. That's the Ace of Cups, right? Everything alive in the world was first created by love. Spirit sends love to animate life and birth it into existence. Love is without conditions, and it is based in reverence and a fierce and joyful respect for life. Love thrives when you focus on it, and we want you to turn away from anything that causes it to wane. Love is when you no longer see yourself as other, separate from, better or less than, etc. When you act as love, you give permission to the world to thrive and grow as it will. Can you let go of what is not love and ask, what would love do? Love is waiting for you always and forever. We just adore you over here. And it may be, and I'll say this, that some of you, if we're talking about, it says not romantic love, but sometimes when we can be hurt by the people that we love, whether it's family, a lover, whatever, right? That we focus on building something, either focus on our house. And I was talking to someone they're not Virgo, but they were saying something like this, that, I just want to do this. I just want to make my home. I just want to do, and I'm like, well, that sounds like someone who's trying to escape from not having to love again. Because we're never afraid to love, but we do feel like it makes us vulnerable. That's not because of love. Love's a beautiful energy. It's the expectations that we have attached to it. I'm going to be expected to do this. I'm going to have to give up my independence. I'm going to have to sacrifice parts of this to be a good friend. That kind of thinking. And that's not the case. That's why it's very important for you with the Ace of Cups in the present. Look at what's in your cup. Look at how you feel. Look at how you want to feel. What do you love in your life? What would you like more of? What would make your cup spill over with love and happiness?